Hello, fans, and welcome to This Day in Baseball, where we're going to bring you a full radio broadcast of today's game. And before we do that, I just want to thank Classic Baseball Radio, and there's a link in the notes where you can check out their full channel. They have many great radio broadcasts. And while you're listening to today's game, if you want to check out much more about the game and the players, look on the links below, and you're going to see links to player pages, the date the game happened, the year it happened, and the play-by-play. Enjoy the game, and check out the links while you're watching the game, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time new content comes out, you're going to get that firsthand. And thank you again for checking out This Day in Baseball, and enjoy the game.
Polo Grounds, and the second game of this doubleheader about to get underway. First game won by the Mets 8-7. Just about everything that can happen in a ball game in that one. Winning pitcher was Galen Cisco, and the losing pitcher was Bob Humphreys. In this second game, the St. Louis Cardinals, who now trail in the series 2-1, will start a left-hander, Ray Sadecki. Sadecki will be going for the Cardinals, pitching to Tim McCarver. He is 23 years of age. He has won one game so far against the Mets this year, a lifetime against the Mets, 1-1, and he has a lifetime Major League career of 31 wins and 31 losses. For the New York Mets, it'll be Jay Hook. Jay, with a record of 3 wins and 5 losses, he is 4-5 against the Cardinals in his life. And Jay Hook, of course, the right-hander. This is the final game of this 4-game series. Tomorrow the Mets will close out their homestand with a series against St. Louis, I should say Cincinnati. The Reds will be in to play Monday night and also Tuesday afternoon. After those 2 games, the Mets will go on the road. The starting lineup for the second game for the St. Louis Cardinals, Curt Flood will lead off, and he'll be playing in center field. Batting second at first base, Bill White. Third batter, Dick Grote at shortstop. In the cleanup spot, Ken Boyer playing third base. Batting fifth in right field, George Altman. The sixth batter will be the left fielder, Charlie James. Batting seventh and playing second base, Julian Javier. Batting eighth and catching, Tim McCarver. And the pitcher, Ray Sadecki, will bat ninth. For the Mets, Rod Cannell will lead off, and he'll be playing in center field. Batting second at third base, Charlie Neal. Batting third, playing second base, Ron Hunt. The cleanup batter will be Frank Thomas, playing left field. Batting fifth and playing right field, Jim Heckman. At first base, the sixth man in the batting order, Tim Harkness. Batting seventh and playing shortstop, Al Moran. Batting eighth and catching, Norm Sherry. And on the mound, Jay Hook, batting ninth. The umpires for the second game, Ed Vargo behind home plate. At first base, Doug Harvey. Lee Wire will be umpiring at second base and calling the plays at third, Al Barley. The Mets, by winning the first game, have now won 22 games. And their record in the Polo Grounds is 17 wins and 14 losses. They stand against the Cardinals 4-3 now out of the 7 games played. The Cardinals have won 4. And the Cardinals, by losing, have a record of 32 wins and 25 losses. Right now, manager Casey Stengel going over the grounds rules with the umpires. Johnny Keane coming up now with his lineup card. Say, what is the one thing most people associate with baseball? Well, I'll bet that if you ask, the answer you'd hear most often is an ice-cold glass of beer. And if those people happen to be New Yorkers, well, then that beer has just got to be Rheingold, New York's favorite. And what accounts for this popularity? 2 words tell you, extra dry. You see, a dry beer is crisp to the taste, more naturally refreshing. And Rheingold is the extra dry beer. Extra dry to be extra refreshing. And after all, isn't that what you want in your beer? I'm sure it is. So why wait? Order up or pour yourself a glass of refreshing Rheingold and enjoy it, like right now. You'll join the millions of people everywhere who say, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. It's beer as beer should taste. Well, we still have a fine crowd on hand for this second game. The field's still decked in sunlight with the shadows starting to creep across in front of home plate. As we've discussed before, and if you've been out the Polo Grounds, you would know that the second game of a doubleheader very difficult for the batters. Shadows from the pitcher's mound to home plate, and then bright sunlight in the outfield, and sunlight reflecting off of the facade that fronts the locker room in center field. Wind is blowing slightly in from right field, and now manager Casey Stengel coming back to the dugout. Johnny Keane going to his dugout. And the New York Mets will take on the St. Louis Cardinals in the final game of this four-game series. After the two-game series with Cincinnati coming up on Monday night and Tuesday afternoon, the Mets will go to Milwaukee for 2 games, Cincinnati for 4 games, St. Louis for 3, returning home on June the 20th to play the New York Yankees in the benefit sandlot game for the Mayor's Trophy of New York. That game scheduled at 8 o'clock on June the 20th. After the 20th, Philadelphia for a night game on the 21st, a day game on the 22nd, and a doubleheader on the 23rd. Now the Mets take the field. And while we wait for Jay Hook to go out to the mound to take his warm-up pitches, we'll use the opportunity to pause for station identification. Set to go in this second game. Jay Hook taking his warm-up pitches. He'll be working to Curt Flood, Bill White, and Dick Gross. Jay, a right-hander with a record of 3 wins and 5 losses. He is 26 years of age, 6'2", 185 pounds. Born in Waukegan, Illinois. He lives now in Grays Lake, Illinois. And he attends in the wintertime the University of Northwestern. He was originally signed by Cincinnati, acquired by the Mets as a draft choice. His first year in pro ball was 1957. He pitched in 3 games for Cincinnati that year, and he was 0-1. Last year he won 8 while losing 19 for the Mets in 37 games. He won the first season game in Met history. That was against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So Jay here will try to make it a sweep of the doubleheader. The Mets won their last doubleheader against the Pittsburgh Pirates last Sunday. Now it's Curt Flood stepping in the batter's box, the game about to get underway. Home plate umpire Ed Vargo giving the sign to play ball, and here we go. Curt Flood with a .267 average, a right-hand batter, and the first pitch is high for ball 1. Flood in the first 3 games of the series has led off with a base hit each time. He was 1 for 4 in the first game of the doubleheader, won by the Mets 8-7. Now Jay back to work, and the next pitch is low for ball 2. This time Hook taking something off the fastball. Flood with 2 home runs. He has 21 runs batted in. He drove in 1 run in the first game. 2 balls, no strikes. Jay back to the plate. And it's high for ball 3. So the first 3 pitches of the ball game, high and away from the strike zone. 3 balls, no strikes. And Hook pitches outside for ball 4. 4 in a row to walk the first man of the game, and Norm Shurry now walks it back to the mound. He's talking with Jay Hook, and that'll bring up Bill White, a .320 batter. Bill with 8 home runs, 39 runs batted in, batting from the left-hand side. Number 12. Well, Flood now has reached first base every time in his first appearance in each game of this series. 3 times on hits, 1 time on a walk. And Jay now working with a runner on, taking the stretch. Here's the pitch. A swing at a pitch outside the strike zone, strike 1. White going for a high fastball. Bill had 2 doubles in the first game. 3 for 5. The 2 doubles going to left field, right down the left field line. Jay again sets, flooded first, a fast runner, and the pitch back to White, hit off the handle, caught by the first baseman, Tim Harkness. He steps on the bag. A double play, number 57 for the Mets this year. Harkness, holding the runner on, had but to catch the ball and move his foot about a foot. So a double play for 2 out, and the batter now, Dick Gross. Dick batting .340. He had 2 hits and 5 trips in the first game. Dick with 4 home runs, 31 runs batted in. And he takes inside a fastball for ball 1. One ball, no strikes. 2 men out, top of the first, no score. Jay Hook in the windup and the pitch back to Gross. It's outside, a slider. 2 balls and no strikes. Winning pitcher in the first game was Galen Cisco in relief. Now at 2-0. It's low, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Cisco was the 4th pitcher used by manager Casey Stengel. Carl Woolley started the game. Bernard Thoreau followed him. Then Cisco. Now 3-0. And it's a called strike. Cardinals used 5 pitchers. Kurt Simmons started. Ed Bauta was next, then Bob Humphreys, then Diomedes Olivo, and then Bobby Shands. Humphreys, the losing pitcher, losing his first game in the major leagues. Now Jay Hook at 3-1, and there's a foul ball out of play. So Hook has worked the count full now to 3 balls and 2 strikes. The on-deck batter is Ken Boyer. Rode batting second in the National League batting race with a .340 average. Wes Covington leading the National League at the start of today's action. Now 3-2. It's popped up on the first base side. Tim Harkness working back from the grass, now stopping. And he makes a catch to retire the side. So Jay Hook working 1-2-3 in the first, and the score at the end of 1/2 inning of play. Cardinals nothing. The Mets now coming to bat. Well, let's stay right on the subject of baseball and see if you have the answer to this Rheingold riddle. Let's suppose the batter hits a long fly ball down the right field foul line. The right fielder comes over to the line in an attempt to make the catch. With his feet in fair territory, he extends his hands over the foul line and drops the ball. Got it? Feet in fair territory. Ball drops in foul territory. Give up? Well, I'm sure you know that the correct ruling is foul ball. The position of the ball in relation to the foul line is the determining factor. So foul ball is the correct ruling in this case. Now here's a ruling, a rule of thumb that's correct in any case. If you want beer as beer should taste, the one to order is Rheingold Extra Dry. And those 2 words, extra dry, tell you why. Yes, sir, they tell you that Rheingold has a taste all its own. Brisk and bright and clean clear through. Enjoy some. Half inning in now, and the Mets come to bat. Leading off will be Rod Cuneo. Rod playing in center field in this game. He played at third base in the first game and had a fine day. Rod had 2 hits and 5 trips, a single and a double. He's now batting at .255, no home runs, 4 runs batted in. Ken Boyer now coming over to pick up something in the fair part of the third base territory, a piece of paper. He's at third base, Dick Grote at short, Javier at second, and Bill White at first. And the first pitch is low by Ray Sadecki for ball 1. Sadecki, 23 years of age. Born in Kansas City, Kansas. He now lives in St. Petersburg, Florida. 5'11", he weighs 180 pounds, a left-hand pitcher. And the pitch back to Cuneo, hit in the hole, going through in the left field, a base hit. Cuneo rounds and holds there as Charlie James hustles the ball in. Rod Cuneo having trouble with an ankle as he rounded first base. So the first hit for the New York Mets here in the bottom half of the first inning. No score, and the batter's Charlie Neal. Dick Grote got his glove on the ball, just barely slowed it down. The ball rolling out the shallow left. If he'd have made the play and had caught the ball, he could have never thrown Keneal out at first base. Charlie Neal, the right-hand batter, batting .228. He didn't play in the first game, and he takes outside, ball one. The pitch outside actually as though a pitch out. 1 ball, no strikes. On deck batter is Ron Hunt. Now Sadecki a look at first, and he goes there. Rod Keneal back way ahead of the throw. Again, Sadecki set. And Keneal goes. The pitch is taken inside. The throw to second base, the slide, the tag, he's out. Covering on the play, Dick Grote. The pitch was inside, driving Charlie Neal away, and the catcher, Tim McCarver, making the throw down to Grote, covering at second base to pick up Rod Keneal. So the base hits erased. And the count on Neal is 2 balls and no strikes. And Sadecki now back to Neal. A line drive to right field. Moving over to cut the ball off is George Altman. He fumbles the ball but picks it up, throws it on in, and Neal holds at first base. So 2 hits in a row for the Mets. One of them erased by the attempted steal. The batter now is Ron Hunt. Ron batting .261. He had 1 hit and 3 times up. It drove in a run in the first game, won by the Mets 8-7. One out, bottom half of the first inning, no score. Hunt, a right-hand batter. Neal edging off at first, and the first pitch to Hunt is low, a fastball, ball 1. One ball, no strikes. Hunt looking for the sign from Cookie Lavagetto, coaching at third. At first base is Solly Hemus. Now Sadecki at 1-0. And the ball is hit deep to center field. Way back there is Flood by the morning track. He's now there waiting, and he makes the catch. Tagged up at first is Charlie Neal. He's going to second base. The play there, and he is safe. Long throw by Flood, taken by Dick Grote, but Neal beat the throw. That gives you an idea how deep that ball was hit in center field. At least 440 feet away. And now with 2 out, the batter is Frank Thomas. Frank batting .216, 3 for 10. He was 1 for 3 in the first game. 3 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Now time called. Dick Grote moving in to smooth out short. He's going back. Here's the first pitch to Frank. Hit off the hands down to third. Ken Boyer comes up with it. He goes across to first to Bill White to retire the side. In the inning for the Mets, no runs on 2 hits. No errors. 1 man left on, and the score at the end of 1. The Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. Well, after the game tonight, to close out this series, the Mets will close out their homestand with 2 games against the Cincinnati Reds on Monday and Tuesday. Monday night, it'll be Joey Jay pitching for the Reds, and going for the Mets, Tracy Stollard. And the Cincinnati Ball Club sneaking up in the National League race. They're in 5th place. They started today's action only 3 games behind. They did lose the first game against the Philadelphia Phillies by a score of 8-7, so that drops them a little bit further behind. Reds will bring in Frank Robinson, Veda Pinson, Gordy Coleman, Joey Jay, Jim O'Toole. Jim winning his 10th game last night to become the first 10th game winner in the National League, also in the Major Leagues. And along with O'Toole, Bob Berkey, Jim Maloney, Bob Skinner. So the Cincinnati Reds, Monday night and Tuesday afternoon. In the second game with Philadelphia, Cincinnati leads that one 2-0 after 3.5. Saturis going for the Reds against Boozer. Pittsburgh shut out Milwaukee 4-0 in the first game of 2. In the second game, Milwaukee has a shutout going for Warren Spahn 3-0 after 6. Don Cardwell pitching for Pittsburgh. The Dodgers won over Chicago 11-8. The winning pitcher, Sherry, in relief. And San Francisco is scheduled against Houston in a night game. In the American League, the Yankees defeated Detroit 6-2. Whitey Ford the winner. Cleveland knocked off Washington 7-3. Boston now playing at Baltimore in the 13th inning. The score tied at 2-2. Raditz and Miller the pitchers. Chicago nothing, Kansas City nothing after 5. Peters and Racco. And Minnesota 2, Los Angeles nothing after 3.5. Daly and McBride. Now here in the top of the second, the first pitch to Ken Boyer by Jay Hook inside for ball 1. Boyer, right-hand batter. He'll be followed by George Altman and then Charlie James. Jay worked the first inning 1-2-3. Pitch back to Boyer, popped up in foul territory. Ball going out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boyer 2 for 5 in the first game to raise his average to .333. Now Jay at 1-1. A curve hangs inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Boyer with 6 home runs. He got his 6th in the series. He has 41 runs batted in. And he takes inside again. 3 balls and 1 strike. Hook walked Kurt Flood in the first inning on 4 pitches. That was his first man. Then he got a double play from Bill White to erase Flood. And he got Dick Grote out on the foul ball. Back to Boyer, and the count moves to 3-2 as Boyer fouls off a pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes, no one out. Top of the second, no score. Now Jay Hook into the windup, and the pitch to Boyer. Hit the center field, high in the air. Keneal moves back, now moves in. And he makes the catch for out number 1. George Altman now the batter. George batting .275, a left-hand batter. He had 1 hit and 5 trips up, but that came in the 9th inning to keep the Cardinals' hopes alive when they scored 2 runs to pull within 8-7. Then Galen Sisco with the time run at third base. Charlie James there, and the go-ahead run at first, George Altman there. Got Julian Javier and a ground ball to short. And the Mets won the first game 8-7. First pitch to Altman, a curve in the dirt. Ball 1. Altman with 3 home runs, 20 runs batted in. And he takes low. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the final score. After 14 innings, Boston defeated Baltimore 3-2. The winning pitcher was Raditz in relief. He came in the game in the 9th inning. The losing pitcher was Miller, who came in the game in the 13th. No home runs in that game. Now at 2-0, Altman takes a change of pace for strike 1. Now Jay with a 2-1 delivery. A swing, a foul tip held on to by Norm Sherry. The count even at 2-2. The on-deck batter, Charlie James. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Altman. Let up, hit hard on the ground to second. Hunt picks it up, throws to first base for the second out. Ron Hunt got to that ball and slipped one down to one knee. Then he came up to make the play to Tim Harkness. For the Mets, they have Tim Harkness at first base, Ron Hunt at second, Al Moran at short, and Charlie Neal at third. Harkness, Moran, and Neal did not start the first game. Harkness got in the first game in place of Cliff Cook, who was a starting first baseman. Now the batter, Charlie James. And he fouls the first pitch back into the second deck, strike 1. In the outfield for the Mets, Frank Thomas in left. He played the first game. Rod Keneal in center. He played third in the first game. Jimmy Pearsall not playing this game. And Jim Hickman, who played in the first game, is in right. Pitch back to James, low. 1 ball, 1 strike. The catcher, Norm Sherry, who caught the first game. So Norm is going a doubleheader. Jay back with a let-up. It's bounced slowly to third. A good play by Charlie Neal. He goes across for out number 3. Charlie Neal coming in on the slow hopper, picking the ball up on the short hop to make the play. So Jay has pitched the 6, retired them all through 2 innings, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings of play. The Cardinals nothing. The Mets coming up now, nothing. You know, you've heard us say it's beer as beer should taste. Well, think of that for a minute. Isn't that what you want in a beer? Don't you want a beer that's refreshingly dry to the taste, with a flavor that's brisk and bright and clean clear through? Well, that is Rheingold. Rheingold is brewed to be just that. Brewed of the choicest ingredients, brewed the long, slow, costlier way. Rheingold is everything you look for in beer. And dry tells you why. Yes, extra dry means Rheingold's a better beer. It's a wonderful beer. And extra dry means Rheingold beer is more refreshing. And the more refreshing a beer is, the more you're going to enjoy it. So enjoy fine, cold Rheingold beer. Join the millions who have made Rheingold New York's largest selling beer. Mets coming to bat for the second time. It'll be Jim Hickman leading off for New York. He'll be followed by Tim Harkness and Al Moran. On the mound for the Cardinals, Ray Sadecki. He has given up 2 hits and no runs. Rod Cannell led off with a base hit in the first, but he was thrown out stealing. Then Charlie Neal singled to right for the second hit. Ron Hunt flied to deep center in the first. Neal advancing to second base after the catch, and then Frank Thomas grounded out. So Sadecki working to the 5th batter in the batting order, Jim Hickman. Jim batting .229. Sadecki, a left-hander, and the first pitch to Jim. Fouled back for strike 1. Hickman 0 for 2 in the first game. Now Sadecki reading the signs from Tim McCarver. Into the swing and the 1-strike delivery. It's wild high for ball 1. The ball going right over the top of the glove of Tim McCarver and ending up back in the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dodgers now lead the National League by at least 1.5 games over the San Francisco Giants. Giants playing tonight. Here's the pitch back to Hickman. 2 balls, 1 strike. Pitch outside. Giants have lost 6 in a row. They lost last night to Houston 2-1. Let up. Hickman takes it. A called strike. So Sadecki has it at 2-2. The on-deck batter is Tim Harkness. Two balls, 2 strikes. The pitch back to Hickman. It's low for ball 3. So Jim leads off here with a 3-2 count. No score. We're in the second inning. Hickman with 6 home runs, 26 runs batted in, and he walks. The pitch high for ball 4. So now 2 singles in the first inning and a walk here in the second. And the Mets have Tim Harkness coming up. Tim batting .216, 4 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Ball way high. Good play by McCarver. 1 ball, no strikes. Now McCarver talking out to Ray Sadecki. Throw to first base. It's high, but pulled down by Bill White. Hickman back way ahead of the throw. 1 ball, no strikes, no one out, top of the second. Make it bottom of the second. Again the first base, again the throw too high to make a tag. And a pitch to the plate. High for ball two. 2 balls, no strikes. The on-deck batter is Al Moran. Hickman at first base. Tim Harkness to the batter. And Al Moran in the on-deck circle. Now Sadecki to the plate again. It's a strike call. A fastball in letter high. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Popped up down toward third base. Coming over Dick Grote, back of the third baseman. And Dick makes the catch. Back to first base, Jim Hickman. 1 man out, and Al Moran coming up. Al batting 184. Right-hand batting shortstop. Sadecki taking time reading the signs, now shaking off the sign from Tim McCarver. He gets one, sets, looks at first, and comes to Moran, and the pitch is a strike call. The Mets prior to this doubleheader have drawn 432,691 people, and here today a fine crowd, somewhere around 30,000, so they have a chance to go to 500 with the 2 games coming up on Monday night and Tuesday afternoon. Moran checking on the swing. It's low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Sadecki with a curveball below the knees. Mets have averaged right around 18,000 per game, and here, of course, the doubleheader drawing somewhere around 30. Now Sadecki at 1-1, and he's inside, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. First game won by the Mets 8-7, a real thriller. Right here we got a shutout going on both sides. The Mets with a runner at first base. And Moran takes again, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. 1 man out, bottom half of the second. The on-deck batter is Norm Sherry. Throw to first base. Hickman has to hustle back before the tag. He makes it safely. 3-1, and the pitch to the plate is hit to right field down the line. A charge by Altman. He has a long run. He's over there, and he makes the catch. Hickman eases back to first base, and now 2 men out. And it brings up Norm Sherry. Say, with the temperature here at game time at 85, right now, it's somewhere near there, so it might be a good time to open up or order up a cold glass of Rheingold Extra Dry. It's beer as beer should taste. Norm Sherry batting .093. 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in. 0 for 4 in the first game, but he caught a fine game for the Mets. And the first pitch to the right-hand batting catcher is low, ball 1. After Sherry, the pitcher, Jay Hook. He's in the on-deck circle. Hickman at first base, and the pitch to Sherry is a strike. Breaking ball over, 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike. Sadecki, a slow worker on the mound. And he lets up, and there's a ball hit down to short. Dick Groh takes it on one hop, throws to Javier covering at second base for the fourth play to retire the side. In the inning for the Mets, no runs, no hits, no Cardinal errors, a walk and a man left on. And the score through 2 innings of play, the Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. Say, Joe McCarthy, the only manager to ever win pennants in both major leagues, has accepted an invitation to be present at the Mets Old Timers Day here at the Polo Grounds on Saturday afternoon, June 22nd. No, Joe never played in the majors himself, but he won a pennant with the Chicago Cubs in the National League in 1929. Then later on, he won 8 for the Yankees. 7 World Championships. McCarthy will find many familiar faces among the major leaguers born and raised in this area who will be assembled for Old Timers Day. Johnny Murphy, for one, who now heads the administrative staff for President George Weiss of the Mets. He was McCarthy's ace relief pitcher on 7 Yankee pennant winners. Another McCarthy alumnus who will greet his old boss here at Old Timers Day on the 22nd will be Marius Russo, the southpaw from Long Island University. Remember that game he won for the Yankees in the 1943 World Series against the Cardinals? All in all, it sure shapes up to be a great day, bringing back to the Polo Grounds such stars as Frankie Frisch, Hank Greenberg, Buddy Hassett, for example. He might even sing for it. Ralph Barranca, Monty Irvin, Bobby Thompson, and don't forget, Joe Medwick's also going to be here, along with many others. That's June 22nd, Old Timers Day, just prior to the game between the Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Mets. 2-inning game. They can't go much more than 2 innings, but it's really a great time, and the players all getting together for one more real great, fine enjoyment. Well, in case you were wondering what the background noise was, Jimmy Pearsall warmed up Jay Hook. And before he left the home plate area, he covered home plate with all the dirt that he could find. And now Ed Vargo getting a laugh as he dusted off, and Vargo laughing to himself as he looks over at Jimmy Pearsall. Never a dull moment at the Polo Grounds. Well, if it's not baseball at its best, it's comedy coming from the likes of Jimmy Pearsall. First pitch of the 3rd inning to Javier by Jay Hook, fouled back in the screen, strike 1. Leading off for the Cardinals, Javier. He'll be followed by McCarver and then Ray Sadecki. Javier batting .256, 4 for 14, and 4 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Cardinals so far shutout. And there's the pitch hit foul down the left field line, strike 2. The ball going in the upper deck about 40 feet foul. Jay has retired 6 in a row, working now to Javier, who's the 7th man in the batting order. He had 1 for 4 in the first game. Now Jay at 2 strikes, and the pitch is low outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jay going right for the outside corner, just missing. Lights are turned on here now at the Polo Grounds. No brightness in center field. The sun has disappeared. A curveball popped up. Charlie Neal coming down the line calling in foul territory, and he makes the catch. And while we wait for the next man to come up, we'll pause for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady, your New York Mets station. The time is 3 minutes after 6. The present Albany Airport temperature, 85 degrees.
No score, 1 out in the top of the 3rd. As we started to say earlier, the sun has completely disappeared. Overcast sky now, which will help the batters. The batter is Tim McCarver, left-hand batter, and the first pitch is a curveball breaking down and over the plate, strike 1. McCarver batting .293. Gracie Stollard pitched last Sunday's second game, and he was tough against the background. Pitch outside, 1 ball, 1 strike by Jay. Tracy is scheduled to pitch against the Cincinnati Reds tomorrow night. Reds will send Joy Jay to the mound. There's a let-up, popped up. Charlie Neal also trying for this one. He backs up, and makes the catch in fair territory this time. And with 2 out, Ray Sadecki will come to bat. Jay Hook now with 8 in a row. Sadecki, a left-hand batter, batting .227. He has 5 hits and 23 trips. And he fouls the first pitch back of home plate. Norm Sherry coming back by the screen, but it goes out of play. Running right with Sherry, Ed Vargo, to make sure that the ball, if caught without the help of the screen. Ed Vargo, the home plate umpire. At first base, Doug Harvey. At second base, Lee Wire. And at third base, Al Barlick. Al, of course, called the first game. First game won by the Mets 8-7, a real thriller. Cardinals took the lead 2-0. Mets tied it up at 2-2. Then the Cardinals fell behind by 3 when the Mets made it 5-2. And then the Cardinals tied it up at 5-5. Here's the first pitch to Sadecki. Second pitch, I should say, strike 2. And with the score of 5-5, the Mets made it 8-5, and the Cardinals scored 2 in the ninth to make it 8-7, and that's the way it ended. 2-strike pitch, curveball. He struck him out. So Jay Hook has pitched to 9 men without allowing a base hit and working the first 3 innings. And the score, the Cardinals nothing, the New York Mets coming to bat in the third, nothing. Bottom half of the third, Jay Hook coming to bat for the first time for the Mets. It'll be Jay Hook and then the leadoff man, Rod Keneal and Charlie Neal against Ray Sadecki. Sadecki has given up 2 hits. He has walked 1. He has not allowed a run. And the first pitch to Jay, a left-hand batter, a fastball at strike 1. Jay batting .211. He has 4 hits. He's been about 19 times. And the left-hander comes back to Jay low. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is Sadecki's 13th appearance. His 10th start. He has a record of 2 wins and 4 losses this year. There's a foul ball by Jay, lined into the lower stands. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sadecki's first win was against the Mets this year. He won that 6-3 on May 25th in St. Louis. And he followed that win with a win over Houston 9-5 in Houston. Sidearm pitch to Jay Hook, called strike 3. So Sadecki picking up a strikeout against Jay. His first in the game. He has 1 out here in the third, and Rod Keneal will come to bat. Rod singled to left field for the first hit of the game, and he was thrown out at second base when he attempted to steal second. Sadecki also has a fine game pitched against the Philadelphia Phillies after his 2 wins, but he was not involved in the decision. So he's come on strongly for the Cardinals. There's a swing by Keneal. A foul back in the screen, strike 1. Last year, he had just a little bit of trouble with manager Johnny Keane, and he got fined $500. Pitch to Keneal outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Of course, I guess you'd have to say that was more than just a little bit of trouble. It also sent him to the International League. There he pitched great ball. Led up to Keneal. He pops it up the third. Boyer coming down the line now, waiting, and he makes the catch in fair territory. 2 men out, and Charlie Neal will come to bat. Charlie singled to right field his first time up. 1 for 1, batting at .232. And the first pitch to Neal by Sadecki, inside, ball 1. Charlie, a right-hand batter with 1 home run, 14 runs batted in. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Neal, a foul ball, strike 1. No score, 2 men out, bottom half of the third. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sadecki back to Neal. A let up line to the shortstop, Dick Gross. And that retires the side. 1-2-3 for Sadecki for the first time in the game. And the score at the end of 3, the Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. Say, undoubtedly, you've heard the new official song of the New York Mets entitled Meet the Mets. If you've been listening to our broadcast and telecast, you must have heard it because it's played before each game as well as before all Mets home games here at the park. This catchy tune is available for you in a 45 RPM recording with a vocal on one side and an instrumental version on the reverse side. To obtain your copy of the record Meet the Mets, send $1 to Mets Official Song, Polo Grounds, New York 39, New York.
The game continues at the beginning of side 2 after a short delay.
Well, Jay Hook going to the mound slowly, so we'll have some time. Let's check the scores. Philadelphia defeated Cincinnati in the first game of a doubleheader in 10 innings, 8-7. In the second game, Cincinnati leads 3-1 after 5.5. Satoris and Balsham now the opposing pitchers. Pittsburgh knocked off Milwaukee in the first game 4-0, a shutout for Bob Friend. In the second game, Milwaukee leads by a score of 5-3 after 8. Shaw relieving Spahn working on the win. Sisk now in for Pittsburgh. And the Dodgers beat Chicago 11-8. The winning pitcher was Sherry. Also, San Francisco is scheduled at Houston, that game, a night game. In the American League, New York 6, Detroit 2. Cleveland 7, Washington 3. In 14 innings, Boston 3, Baltimore 2. At the end of 7, Chicago 3, Kansas City 2. And Minnesota trails Los Angeles 3-2 after 6. Daly and McBride. In that Kansas City-Chicago game, it's Wilhelm in relief now against Rockall. Now as we move to the 4th inning, here to bring you the play-by-play is Bob Murphy.
Okay, Ralph, Kurt Flood leads off against Jay Hook in the top of the 4th inning, and no score in the nightcap of the doubleheader. And he hits the first pitch and pops it high in the air to shallow right center. Moving in under it is right fielder Jim Hickman, and he has it for the out. 1 away and nobody on. Now coming on to hit will be the first baseman, Bill White. Bill 0 for 1. He lined into a double play with a line drive to Tim Harkness in the first inning. Now Jay Hook out of his windup. The pitch a little bit inside of the letters. 1 ball and no strikes. For those of you joining us late, the New York Mets won the opener of today's doubleheader 8-7. Pitch thrown to White, a line drive hit right down the right field line toward the seats, and it is gone for a home run. Bill White with a line drive right down the right field line and into the lower stands. His 9th home run of the year. He now leads the Cardinals in home runs and his 40th run batted in. Bill White hit a real Polo Grounds home run that time. A line drive down the right field line, just high enough to go into the lower stands, 250 feet out. Outside and high, ball 1 to Dick Gross. That was the first hit given up by Jay Hook, and the Cardinals lead 1-0. One away, nobody on. Pitch on the way to Grote. A drive hit hard toward left field. Running toward the wall goes Thomas. He makes the catch on the run. That was a real sparkler by Frank Thomas. Grote hit a line drive that was on its way to the left field wall. Thomas, running at full speed at the last moment, reached way out and made a backhand glove-handed grab. Beautiful play by Frank Thomas to take an extra base hit away from Dick Grote. 2 men down now, nobody on, and the batter is Ken Boyer. A high fly ball down the right field line. It's going to be hard to get to. Hickman running hard, so is Ron Hunt, and it's Hunt who makes the catch. Oh, what a play by Ron Hunt. That was a beauty. going down the right field line. He was all the way to the edge of the warning track in right field when he caught the ball, groping desperately. He caught it over his shoulder on the run, and here's the hand for Hunt coming in. Two beautiful plays, back-to-back, one by Thomas, the other by Ron Hunt, and the Cardinals are out. 1 run, 1 hit, a home run by Bill White, no errors and none left on. At the end of 3.5 innings, the score, the Cardinals won, and the New York Mets nothing. Last half of the 4th inning, and Ron Hunt, who made a fine play to retire Kenny Boyer, leads it off now against Ray Sadecki. The left-hander's curve is in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. You couldn't ask to see any better defensive plays back-to-back than the 2 turned by Frank Thomas on a line drive he got going right into the wall. And then the running play out into right field by Ron Hunt. Now Sadecki winds and pitches. A looping fly ball hit toward the right field line, coming over George Altman, and he makes the catch in front of the wall. Ron Hunt is 0 for 2, his first time up. He put Kurt Flood back on the warning track and straight away center field to take his long fly ball. Now Frank Thomas getting a hand for the catch that he made. Frank is 0 for 1. He grounded out third to first against Sadecki in the first inning. Fastball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Frank had 1 hit and 3 trips and also drew a walk in the opener. It's over at the knees for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ray Sadecki, in his 13th outing of the year, Sadecki has won 2 and lost 4. One delivery. Inside and low, it's ball 2. One out, nobody on. New York hitting in the last half of the 4th inning. A swing and a miss by Frank Thomas. The count evens at 2-2. Tomorrow night, Freddie Hutchinson will pitch Joey J, and Casey will have Tracy Stallard going. The Reds are in for a 2-game series tomorrow night and Wednesday afternoon. Tomorrow night and Tuesday afternoon, beg your pardon. Ground ball hit toward the hole, a base hit going to left field. Base hit number 3 for New York off Ray Sadecki. It'll bring up Jim Hickman. Jim walked twice in the opening game. Otherwise, he grounded out and flied to left. Now Kenny Boyer, just about even with the bag at third, now retreats a couple of steps. In comes the pitch to Hickman. Gets the inside corner, a called strike. He had good stuff on that one. Sadecki delivers a ground ball hit down to Boyer. He's up with it. He pegs to Javier. He drops the ball. And he rules that he had maintained possession. The rhubarb is going now. Sally Hemus is charging Lee Wire. He is red hot about this one. Sally is really hot. Javier came across the bag, dropped the ball. Wire contended that he had taken the ball out of his glove and was starting to throw to first when he dropped it, and so the play stood up as out on a force play at second. The Mets completely disagree with Lee Wire. Casey Stengel is out there. The argument going around Big Lee Wire, who is 6'6", 250 pounds. Wire threw Ron Hunt out of the game yesterday for arguing on a call third strike. And Sally is really hot. Frank Thomas trying to step in to push Sally away from him. Casey Stengel right in the big middle of the argument. Kenny Boyer came up with the grounder and threw to Javier as they tried to start the double play, and they certainly had it in the makings. But Javier dropped the ball. However, Lee Wire said he had made the play at second and was in the act of throwing to first base, and so Thomas was called out. And Sally is out there still really arguing with Big Lee Wire with Casey right alongside. When this fellow turns his back to you and starts to walk away, you're really following a big man. And Sally has been thrown out of the game by Lee Wire. Now Hemus getting a hand as Sally heads toward the clubhouse in center field. Sally may have been wrong. He was never in doubt for even a moment. The minute the play was called, Sally took off on the dead run to get to Lee Wire and start the argument at second base. Coach Ernie White is coming in from the bullpen, and Ernie will have to take over on the coaching lines at first base. And the crowd here in the Polo Grounds of over 27,000 now all standing and giving their support to Sally Hemus in his argument against the umpire, Lee Wire. All the handkerchiefs are out, and they are waving them at umpire Lee Wire. No error on the play. Hickman reaching safely. Now Tim Harkness will be coming up. This is quite a sight to see in the Polo Grounds right now with over 27,000. Everybody standing and just about everybody waving a white handkerchief. Now the pitch to Harkness. Inside the high, off the shoulder, 1 ball and no strikes. Last night, a fan seated in the upper deck in left field had painted a sign that simply said, boo. And any time he disagreed with the umpire, he just held it up. On the other side of it, he had yay, Y-E-A. He pretty well conveyed the emotions of baseball. And the breaking ball is a strike on the outside corner. And this crowd now is really letting the umpires have it. The umpiring profession has never been one that lent itself to cheers from a baseball crowd. Count 1-1 on Tim Harkness. Down comes the pitch to him, a check swing and a foul ball back into the upper deck. St. Louis in front, 1-0. New York batting last half of the 4th inning. The Mets won the opener by a score of 8-7. Well, Sally Hemus is long since in the Mets clubhouse in center field. But the crowd of 27,000 in the Polo Grounds still defending Sally in his argument against Lee Wire. The pitch on the way, inside and high, 2-2 on Tim Harkness. The count on Tim Harkness. Jim Hickman on first, 2 men down. Pitch is inside at the letters, ball 3. Now we have a full count on Harkness, 3-2. Well, you have to see this and hear it to fully appreciate it. I'd say at least half of the 27,000 are waving white handkerchiefs. There goes Hickman, a swing and a miss. He struck him out. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left on. At the end of 4 innings, the score, the Cardinals 1 and the Mets nothing. Well, Smoker's Cool's menthol magic brightens taste. You'll feel extra coolness in your throat. In other games today, Philadelphia staged a tremendous comeback to win the opener of a doubleheader. The Phillies were trailing Cincinnati 7-2 as they came in to hit in the 9th inning. They scored 5 in the 9th and then won the game in the 10th inning 8-7. Johnny Callison hit 2 home runs. Don Demeter and Jim Lemon each hit 1. In the second game, Cincinnati leading Philadelphia 3-1 at the end of 6 1/2 behind John Saturas. Jack Balshin has relieved Johnny Boozer. Beta Penson, Clay Dalrymple, and Pete Rose have homered. Bob Friend hurled a 5-hit shutout to win his 8th as Pittsburgh beat Milwaukee 4-0. In the second game, just completed, the Braves gain a split by winning the nightcap 5-3. The Dodgers won a slugfest from the Chicago Cubs 11-8. And the Giants and Colt 45s will play a Sunday night game in Houston. In the American League, Whitey Ford all the way as the Yankees down Detroit 6-2. Mickey Lolich was the loser. Cleveland beat Washington 7-3. Gary Fell the winner in relief and Tom Cheney the loser. Vic Davalillo and Chuck Hinton each hit 2-run homers. Dick Raditz the winner and Stu Miller the loser in the 14-inning battle in Baltimore. The Red Sox shading the Orioles 3-2. The White Sox lead Kansas City 3-2 there in the last of the 8th inning in Kansas City. And the Angels lead the Minnesota Twins 3-2 after 7.5 innings. Now George Altman is up against Jay Hook in the top of the 5th inning. And he is hit by the pitch. George Altman grazed by the first pitch thrown by Jay Hook. He goes down to first base. And on to hit now is Charlie James, the left fielder. James 0 for 1. He was thrown out by Charlie Neal his first time up. Charlie made a good play. He had to charge in and play that tough short hop and then kind of skip and throw off balance. In comes the pitch. There goes the runner, and it is ball 1. We thought for a minute the ball may have been fouled, but it wasn't. It simply popped out of Sherry's glove. So Altman goes down to second base, and we'll wait for the scoring as to a stolen base or possibly a pass ball. Pass ball charged to Norm Sherry. Now George Altman is on second with nobody out. Charlie James the batter. Now Jay up in pitching position. Delivers to the plate, outside and low. Ball 2. St. Louis out in front, 1-0. Altman on second, nobody out. Outside and low, it's ball 3, and Hook goes behind him, 3-0. With the crowd today, the New York Mets at home this season have now drawn 459,023. They will not be far from 500,000 in home attendance when they wind up this homestand Tuesday afternoon against Cincinnati. The season just a little bit beyond the 1/3 mark. This for the New York Mets, their 58th game of the year, and 54 marked a third of the season. In comes the pitch by Jay. That's over a strike. A peg down to second, and the ball hits the runner, George Altman. Doesn't bounce far away. No advance by Altman beyond that after being hit. Count 3-1 on the batter, Charlie James. Well, Altman's having a tough time of it. He was hit on the shoulder to get on base, and now he gets hit sliding back into second. Delivery. Foul ball back toward our broadcasting booth and no play. Now it's 3-2 on the left fielder, Charlie James. James hitting .298. Former Missouri football player got his opportunity to play every day when Minnie Minoso was hurt early last year, and he made the most of it. He wound up with a good year. Now the 3-2 pitch. A drive in the air to right center field, cutting over Hickman. He's there, makes the catch. Altman tags up, draws the throw, and then holds on at second. One away and one on. The batter will be Julian Javier, the second baseman, batting at .255. Javier is 0 for 1. He popped up to Charlie Neal in the 3rd inning. Mets hoping to sweep their 3rd doubleheader of the year. They won the opener today, 8-7. Now Jay up in pitching position. Delivers. Javier pops it up towards short left center field. Scooting out is Al Moran. He's getting to it and grabs it for the out. Now there are 2 away. Moran retiring Javier, and on to hit will be the catcher, Tim McCarver. McCarver hitting .288. He's 0 for 1. He popped out to Neal his first time up. St. Louis leading 1-0 on a home run by Bill White, a line drive right down the right field line and into the lower right field grandstand. Right now we have a conference between home and the mound. And while it takes place, we'll pause for station identification.
810 on the radio dial, WGY, Schenectady. The time is 6:32.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner. We're in the second game of 2 in the Polo Grounds. 5th inning with 1 on and 2 men down. Tim McCarver, the batter. Now Jay Hook looks the runner back, then delivers a curve in the dirt, blocked by Norm Sherry. Total crowd today is over 27,000. The paid crowd figure, 26,332. And we hope you're planning to be with us tomorrow night for the opener of the 2-game series with Cincinnati. Reds started the day just 3 games out of first place. They led the Phillies 7-2 going into the 9th inning of their opener today and then lost it. Ground ball bounced past the mound towards second base. Up with it is Hunt. The throw. Not in time. The throw to the plate. They may get him. He's out at home plate. Altman is out trying to score. Ron Hunt fired to Harkness trying to get McCarver. Not in time. That was an infield hit. Altman never broke stride and tried to score, and Harkness fired to Sherry, and Sherry had the ball waiting for him. Give McCarver a base hit. And Altman is out from Harkness to Norm Sherry. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. And now at the end of 4.5 innings, the score, the Cardinals 1 and the Mets nothing. Well, if you've tried one of the new menthol cigarettes only to find out that after a pack or 2 it begins to taste just like your old brand, you're ready to make the right change to Cool Filter Kings. You see what we mean when we say, you're not smoking cool enough till you come up to Cool. And there's a very good reason why this is so. Only Cool gives you rich, mellow tobaccos, and that comes to you free and easy through Cool's Pure White Filter. A refreshing extra coolness you can feel right in your throat. Enjoy that bright, clean taste that stays bright and clean every time you light up, from the very first cigarette in the morning to your last cigarette at night. Feel that extra coolness in your throat. Come all the way up to Cool. Get yourself a carton of Cool right away. Cool Filter Kings with a Pure White Filter. Now Moran bunts down the third base line. Boyer firing across. It is in time, and Moran is out by a running stride as he tried to bunt his way on. Kenny Boyer making a good play and a strong throw. One away, nobody on. Last half of the 5th inning. Here's Norm Sherry stepping in against Ray Sadecki. St. Louis, 1 run, 2 hits. New York, no runs, 3 hits. Duke Snyder on the coaching lines at first now. A fly ball hit foul going down the right field line. That'll be up in the upper deck, but a foul ball. Solly Hemus was banished by Lee Wire after Solly protested on a disputed play at second base. Now Ernie White has gone back to take care of his pitchers, and Duke Snyder has come out to handle the coaching at first base with Cookie Lavagetto at third. Bounced foul back toward the Cardinal dugout. Duke was hit on the right forearm with a pitch thrown by Ernie Brolio in the game yesterday, but it was nothing serious, fortunately, just a bruise. You don't have too many quiet or too many dull moments around the Polo Grounds. Foul ball toward the photographer's booth and out of play. St. Louis leading on a home run by Bill White. For White, his 9th of the year, he leads the Cardinals in home runs now. This is over. Strike 3 called, and Norm Sherry is caught looking. Third strikeout for Ray Sadecki. It'll bring up pitcher Jay Hook. Jay looked at a call third strike, his only time up. Jay has 4 hits at 19 times at bat, hitting .200. Now, a lot of the fans are starting to chant, "We want Duke." Ray Sadecki delivers a drag bunt, but it goes right back to the mound. Sadecki throws to first, and the Mets are out. Mets go down in order in their half of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. Now 5 innings complete, and the score, the Cardinals 1, and the Mets nothing. Well, you know, the New York area has just about everything. It's the most wonderful place in the world. You name it, New York has got it. Baseball, parks, beaches, football, golf, lakes, amusements. People in New York have a lot to choose from, and that goes for beers, too. There are quite a few brands of beer on the market, and I think it's really something that of all the brands of beer available, New Yorkers have made Rheingold Extra Dry their favorite. It's quite a tribute to the quality of Rheingold. Rheingold is brewed of the choicest ingredients. Brewed the long, slow, costly way, the extra dry way. And extra dry tells you why Rheingold is so wonderful and so much more refreshing. It's beer as beer should taste. Brisk and bright and clean clear through. Why not enjoy the extra refreshment of Rheingold Extra Dry beer? Join the millions who say, "My beer is Rheingold, the dry beer." Warren Spahn won his 8th game of the year against 3 losses, with Milwaukee defeating Pittsburgh 5-3 in the second game to gain a split of the doubleheader. Pittsburgh won the opener 4-0 on a 5-hit shutout by Bob Friend as he won his 8th game. Second game in Philadelphia is now in the 9th inning, with Cincinnati leading the Phillies by a score of 3-1 behind John Saturis. Philadelphia got 5 in the 9th inning and 1 in the 10th to win the first game from Cincinnati 8-7. And the Dodgers got 4 in the 6th inning and 3 in the 7th to outscore the Chicago Cubs 11-8 at Wrigley Field this afternoon. Ernie Banks hit 3 home runs in the game, hiking his total for the year to 13, and his career total to 348. Now Ray Sadecki, leading off for St. Louis, goes after a curve and misses, strike 1. They're on the last of the 9th in Kansas City now, with the White Sox leading the A's 4-3. Off the outside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike. They're in the 9th inning in Los Angeles. The Angels lead the Twins 4-2. Foul ball, a little squibbler hit off the end of the bat down the third baseline, 1-2. Now Jay Hook, out of his windup, the pitch to Sadecki, an off-speed pitch taken, 2-2. Whitey Ford won his 8th game of the year against only 3 losses. Whitey went all the way as the Yankees down Detroit 6-2. Mickey Lolich was the losing pitcher. Yankee home runs were hit by Harry Bright, Tom Trish, Clete Boyer, and Hector Lopez. Foul ball back upstairs and out of play. And Cleveland, with Gary Bell getting the victory in relief, down to Washington 7-3. Tom Cheney was the starting and losing pitcher for Gil Hodges' Washington Senators. Foul ball back. There is a fellow parading the aisle of the upper deck with a Cardinal banner, and of course, as he passes by the Mets fans, they're letting him know how they feel about it. He has more courage than the first man to eat a raw oyster. Now the 2-2 delivery. A ground ball bounced toward the hole. Bad hop taken by Harkness, thrown to Hook covering. They've got him. That ball took a bad hop, and Harkness caught it with his bare hand. One away and nobody on now. Sixth inning, and the batter is Curt Flood. Flood has drawn a walking fly to right. He had one hit and 4 times up in the opening game and scored a run. The Mets won the opener 8-7. Galen Cisco, the winner in relief, and Bob Humphreys, the loser. A high fly ball lazily hit towards straightaway center field. Under the ball waiting is Hot Rod, and he takes it for the out. 2 down now in the 6th inning. That'll bring up Bill White. White hit a line drive right down the line and into the lower grandstand for a home run in the 4th inning, the only run of this game. White had hit the ball hard his first time up and lined into a double play. Curve taken low, 1 ball and no strikes. Now Jay out of his windup. The pitch to White misses inside at the knees. Ball 2, 2-0. Now Jay cranks up the pitch to White, an off-speed pitch, and it's out of the strike zone. Ball 3. So Jay pitching very carefully to Bill White has now gone behind him 3-0. Bill hitting .322. He goes after 3-0 and fouls it into the dirt right by home plate, 3-1. Ken Boyer and Bill White are both pressing the Major League leader, Frank Robinson, in RBIs. Robinson, 43, starting the afternoon. White now has 40, and Ken Boyer has 41. Norm Sherry got hit by that foul tip. Time being taken right here while Norm Sherry has a chance to catch his breath, and for the pain to subside some, he got nicked by the foul tip. And now trainer Gus Motch is coming out to take a look at him. Now Norm is on his feet. And he tells Gus that he is all set, and so the Mets trainer, Gus Motch, comes back to the dugout, and we're all set to go again. The count is 3-1 on Bill White with 2 outs and nobody on the top of the 6th inning. Cardinals leading 1-0 on the home run by White in the 4th inning. Now Jay with that smooth windup, but the curve breaks inside, ball 4, and he goes down to first base. That is the second walk that Hook has given up. He walked Curt Flood leading off the ball game. Now Dick Grote comes on. He was robbed of an extra base hit on a sparkling play against the left field fence by Frank Thomas his last time up in the 4th inning. The Mets had back-to-back defensive plays by Thomas and Hunt. There were beauties in that 4th inning. Now Jay checks the runner. There goes White. Hit and run. A line drive may go foul down the right field line. It does. Foul and into the seats. One strike count. Now throw to first. Dick Grote, an outstanding hit-and-run man, and they wasted no time putting the play on. Now White holding up, fouled again to right field, and again it's in the upper deck. Dick batting .338. Dick had 2 for 4 in the first game. He now is 2 for 6 in the doubleheader. There goes Bill White. The pitch outside. The peg down by Norm Sherry. The slide out at second base. Ron Hunt put the tag on Bill White, and he is caught stealing. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. Now, after 5 1/2 innings, the score, the Cardinals 1 and the Mets nothing. You know, popularity like Rheingold has doesn't just happen. It's a result of millions of people agreeing that Rheingold has what they want in beer. A refreshing difference they can recognize right off. And 2 little words tell you what the difference is. The 2 words, extra dry. Yes, sir, extra dry tells you why Rheingold... Now Rod Keneal batting in the last half of the 6th inning. Pitch by Sadecki, a fastball in the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Charlie Neal will be up next, and then Ron Hunt. Sadecki looking in for his sign. Keneal waiting. 1-1 delivery off the outside corner. Ball 2, 2-1. It's all over in Kansas City. The Chicago White Sox have moved into first place in the American League by defeating Kansas City 4-3. A fly ball in the air to right field, not too deep. George Altman moves maybe 1 step and makes the catch for the out. The Red Sox defeated Baltimore in 14 innings. The White Sox have beaten Kansas City to go into first place. The Yankees now are a game and a half back. Minnesota Twins have been making real strides since Harmon Killebrew returned to action. Inside and low to Charlie Neal. 1 ball and no strikes. Twins are in the 9th inning, trailing the Angels by 2. Outside and high. Ball 2, 2-0 on Charlie Neal. Minnesota 4 games over the 500 mark, started the afternoon, 3 games out of first. Two-0 pitch to Charlie Neal down in the dirt. Ball 3, 3-0. Sadecki cranks up. The 3-0 pitch, a strike on the inside corner, 3-1. Charlie has one of the 3 singles given up by Ray Sadecki. He singled to right field in the first inning. Rod Keneal had led off with a single, but Rod was caught stealing when a hit-and-run sign may have been missed. 3-1 delivery. Ball 4 outside, and Neal is on. That'll bring up the second baseman, Ron Hunt. St. Louis, 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors. New York, no runs, 3 hits, and no errors. We're in the last of the 6th inning. Sadecki checks the runner at first, then delivers an off-speed pitch for a strike to Ron Hunt. It got the outside corner. In comes the pitch to Ron in the dirt, but blocked well by Tim McCarver. No chance for Neal to move over. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Ron Hunt has flied deep to center field and flied to right, so Ron is 0 for 2. His fly ball to center field sent Kurt Flood back to the warning track and straightaway center, about 440 feet out for him to make the play. Now Sadecki throws to Bill White. Charlie Neal getting back with plenty to spare. Here's the pitch on the way. A ground smash to short, taken on 1 hop by Grote. Over to Javier, on to White for the double play that retires the side. A low liner played on 1 hop by Dick Grote and turned into a double play. In the 6th inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. And now 6 innings complete. The score in the nightcap of the doubleheader, the Cardinals 1 and the New York Mets nothing. And now to take you the rest of the way, play-by-play, here is Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Bob Murphy. We'll be moving here to the 7th inning. If you've been following the New York Mets day by day, as so many of you have, then you know that you can do it a little better with a copy of the Met Yearbook. First edition, of course, was completely sold out, and the second edition has biographical and statistical data that was not in the first edition anyway, with information on players like Duke Snyder and Ed Kranepool and Ron Hunt and Carl Willey. And if you'd like a copy of the Met Yearbook, send 50 cents to Met Yearbook, Polo Grounds, New York, 39, New York. The Mets, of course, will be meeting the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium on Thursday night, June 20th at 8 p.m. in the Mayor's Trophy game. This is the game that was originally scheduled to have been played on June 3rd, but it was rained out. It's for the benefit of Sandlot Baseball in New York, and we hope you'll be on hand at Yankee Stadium Thursday night, June 20th.
The game continues at the beginning of side 3, cassette number 2.
All right, here we have a real good one going. Jay Hook on the mound, and in this, the top of the 7th, he will be facing Dick Grote. Grote was at the plate when White was thrown out at second base. And the top of the 6th. That pitch is low for ball 1. Jay Hook getting his sign now from battery mate Norm Sherry. Norm has caught both games of today's doubleheader. Here's the pitch. Missing outside for ball. It's 2-0. Through 6 innings, the Cards have 1 run on 2 hits and no errors. The Mets have no runs on 3 hits and no errors. Bill White's 4th inning home run, the only tally in the contest. Now here's the 2-0 pitch to Grote. Swung on and lined up the middle for a base hit. Rod Cannell up with the ball, plays it in, and Grote turns and holds with a single to center, and that will bring up Ken Boyer. Batting cleanup in the batting order, he has slid to center and popped out to second. The Mets won the first game of today's doubleheader by a score of 8-7. Galen Cisco is credited with the win, working in relief. Bob Humphreys took the loss. That hit by Grote just now was number 3 for the Cards off Hook. The hits are all even, 3 and 3. Grote leads at first base, and Hook delivers. Boy, a bunt foul. As they had the sacrifice on, that will bring Grote back to first. Strike 1 count. Boyer looking down to Vern Benson, the coach at third. Jay Hook is set, and the pitch is outside. Pitch out as Boyer had squared around again. As though to bunt. 1-1 to count. swings the bat as he waits now. Grote leads at first base. Here's a throw over, not in time. Charlie Neal had started his charge in from third in anticipation of a bunt attempt. Hooks in a set position, steps off the rubber. Cardinals with a 1-run lead. Now the pitch, he squares to bunt. It's bunted up into the air. Sherry's right there, and he makes the catch. Grote's on the bag at first. So Boyer, in trying to bunt, has fouled out to the catcher, and right now we pause for station identification.
WGY, Schenectady, New York. 8:10 on the radio dial. The time is 1 minute before 7.
George Altman coming up. Left-hand batter. This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy at the Polo Grounds. Breaking ball swung on, and it's a fair ball down the first base line, continuing on out into right field, rounding second, heading for third. Now it's Dick Grote. On the way to second is Altman as the throw comes back to the infield. Runners at second and third on the double by Altman, down past Tim Harkness. A shot just inside the line at first base. Sherry is talking to Ed Vargo about the call, and Jay Hook had come in to back up a possible throw at the plate, takes the ball and heads back to the mound. So suddenly the Cardinals, with one man out, have runners at second and third, with right-hand batter Charlie James coming up on Altman's blistering double down the right field line. At Philadelphia, the Cincinnati Reds have defeated the Phils 3-1 in the second game of that doubleheader, so the Phils and the Reds have split their Sunday doubleheader. In the American League, the Los Angeles Angels have defeated the Minnesota Twins 4-2. McBride the winner, Perry the loser. Right here, the Cardinals won, the Mets nothing, and the Cards are threatening. The Mets bring the infield in as Jay Hook faces right-hand batter Charlie James. Breaking ball swung on line, fouled on the left field line. He got a hold of it, pulled it, but foul, and it's strike one. We're getting a little action down in the Met bullpen. Ken Mckenzie is throwing. Ken Mckenzie. Charlie James waiting with a strike one count. Jay Hook getting a sign from Norm Sherry. And it's a foul ball, just ticked off the bat, coming on back. It's a 2-strike count now to Charlie James. One man out here. Jay Hook in a tough spot. Again, he's taking a long time to get the sign. Here's 2-strike pitch. Low for a ball. Dick Grote had come down the line and hustling back to the bag, started covering up, half expecting a throw down there. One ball, 2 strikes to James. Dick Grote is the base runner at third, and George Altman is the base runner at second. And the pitch. Breaking ball swung on. It's a ground ball up the middle for a base hit. Grote has scored. Altman rounds third. He's coming in. Here's a throw, and it is cut off. 2-run score, and holding at first base is Charlie James. James bouncing that one up the middle for 2 runs. And the Cardinals lead by a score of 3-0. Still only one man out, a runner at first, and second baseman Julian Javier is coming up. He's been up twice without a hit. Charlie James on the bag at first. Now takes his lead. Pitch is swung on and has a high pop toward third. Charlie Neal gives it a run over into foul territory. And Neal makes the play. No advance by James at first, as Javier has fouled out to third base. That brings up catcher Tim McCarver. McCarver got a base hit. Top of the fifth when he hit a ground ball to the right of second baseman Ron Hutt. He went over. He came up with the ball through the first, not in time to get McCarver, so that was the base hit. But Altman tried to score from second and was thrown out at the plate. Now Hook is set. Throws over, and James gets back safely. The Mets won Friday night. The Cardinals won yesterday afternoon. The Mets won the first game of today's doubleheader. Swinging a drive, going into right field for a base hit. James is holding his second as Hickman's throw comes into the infield. Knocked down by Moran, who picks it up. Runners at first and second. 2 men out, and Ray Sadecki coming up. Sadecki has struck out swinging and grounded out. Harkness to pitcher Jay Hook covering. Cardinals 3, the Mets nothing. Hook now up and set. Breaking ball is low and inside for ball one. Sadecki's a left-hand batter. Paid attendance here this afternoon, 26,332, a fine Sunday afternoon turnout to see the Mets and the Cards. Runs the Mets paid attendance at home to 459,023. Hook now steps off the rubber. The Mets AAA Farm Club, Buffalo, has won a doubleheader from Richmond, 5-4 and 4-3. His pitch is in there for a call strike to Sadecki. 1-1. In case you've joined us just lately, Solly Hemus was ejected from this game by umpire Lee Wire at second for protesting a call made by Wire on a force play on Frank Thomas. Pitch is low for a ball. Thomas was a base runner at first, and Hickman hit a ground ball to Ken Boyer at third. He played over to Javier at second. Javier took the throw coming across the bag and then dropped the ball. Thomas was called out anyway, and Solly Hemus, in protesting, was thrown out of the ball game. Runners here at first and second with 2 men out. And the pitch to Sadecki is lined into left field for a base hit. Charlie James rounds third. He's coming home. Thomas up with the ball. His throw goes to second. Holding there's McCarver. It's another run in for the Cardinals, and Casey Stengle's on his way to the mound as the Cards lead by a score of 4-0. Ken Mckenzie has been throwing in the bullpen. Sadecki lined that ball into left field. Number 37, the old professor, signaling to the bullpen, and that's going to be off for Jay Hook. So as Ken Mckenzie walks in from the bullpen, let's call in Ralph Conner to check up on scores of other games in the Major League.
Okay, Lindsay. Well, Philadelphia, by scoring 5 runs in the 9th inning, kept their game alive with the Cincinnati Reds in the first game of a doubleheader. They added 1 more in the 10th and defeated Cincinnati 8-7. The winning pitcher was Clipstein in relief. The losing pitcher, Zanny. In the second game, the Reds bounced back to win it 3-1. The winning pitcher, Satouris, for the Reds, and the losing pitcher, Boozer. The Reds will be here tomorrow night for a night game on Monday night, and also they will play on Tuesday afternoon, and that will close out the homestand for the Mets. Cincinnati with Frank Robinson and company coming right to the Polo Grounds for the final 2 games of this homestand. Pittsburgh, in playing a doubleheader, won the first game 4-0, a 5-hit shutout for Bob Friend. They lost the second game to Warren Spahn and Bob Shaw. Spahn winning his 335th victory, his 8th this year. The score of that second game was 5-3. The Dodgers defeated Chicago 11-8. The winning pitcher was Sherry in relief in the 6th inning. And San Francisco is scheduled at Houston, that game to start tonight. In the American League, the Yankees defeated Detroit 6-2. Whitey Ford winning his 8th victory of the year. Bright, Cash, Tresh, Boyer, and Lopez home runs. Cleveland defeated Washington 7-3. And in 14 innings, the Boston Red Sox edged out the Baltimore Orioles 3-2. The winning pitcher was Raditz in relief in the 9th inning. Chicago, the White Sox won 4-3 over Kansas City. Pizarro, the winning pitcher, in relief in the 8th inning. And the Los Angeles Angels beat Minnesota 4-2 with McBride, the starting pitcher, the winner in that one. He had help from Nelson in the 9th inning. That's the story around the league. And now for the story from Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Ralph Kiner. Ken Mckenzie is coming here in relief of Jay Hook. Hook pitched 6 2/3 innings in which he gave up 4 runs on 7 hits. He struck out 1 and walked 1. Mckenzie, making his 18th game appearance, has pitched 23 innings in which he has given up 22 hits and 15 runs. He has a record of 3 victories and 1 loss. He will be facing leadoff man Curt Flood, batting for the Cardinals with 2 men out and runners at first and second. The Cardinals have 3 runs in here in the top of the 7th. The Mets won the first game of this afternoon's doubleheader by a score of 8-7. Mckenzie has completed his warm-up. Curt Flood getting ready to step in. McCarver, the base runner at second. Sadecki, the base runner at first. It's in there for a called strike to Curt Flood. In this game, Flood has walked, flied to right, flied to center. Little Nebber fouled on the third base line. Vern Benson on the coaching lines throws it out of play. It's been a warm, sunny, baseball-type day at the Polo Grounds. Mckenzie now sets, and here's the pitch. Breaking ball outside. It's 1-2. The Mets with 2 more appearances on this homestand. Tomorrow night against the Cincinnati Reds and Tuesday afternoon against the Reds. There's a swing and a drive to right. It's going to be in there for a base hit. Coming on to score is McCarver. Sadecki's on his way to third. The throw coming in, and Flood holds up with a double. And another run in for the Cards to make it 5-0. Sadecki holding at third, and Flood with a stand-up double at second. That run, of course, charged against Jay Hook. And that'll bring up Bill White. Runners second and third, still 2 men out. White had a home run at the top of the 4th. It's high for ball 1. Now Mckenzie lobs the ball in. And it is inspected by Ed Varga, who leaves it in play. Here's the windup and the pitch to White. Swung on, foul back, onto the screen, out of play. It's 1-1. Cardinals have 5 runs on 8 hits. Mets have no runs on 3 hits. The swing and a fly ball deep to right center. Keneal is over, and so is Hickman. And who's going to take it? Keneal takes it.
So the Cards batted around, but are retired in the top of the seventh with 4 runs on 6 hits. No errors and 2 left, and at the end of 6.5 innings, it's the Cardinals 5, the Mets nothing. You know, I get asked a lot of questions about beer. And I guess the one question I get asked more frequently than any other is there really a difference in beer? Well, of course there is. You see, each brewer has certain ideas about brewing. Some brewers prefer one hop to another. Some prefer one type of barley malt to another. Take Rheingold. Gathered together at the Rheingold Brewery is the largest staff of brewmasters in any major brewery. They have very definite opinions as to how Rheingold should be brewed. They brew the extra dry way. And that's why Rheingold tastes different from other beers. The extra dry way is long, slow, and costlier, but Rheingold brewers feel this is the only way to brew beer as beer should taste. That's why Rheingold Extra Dry has a flavor that's brisk and bright and clean clear through. But look, prove it to yourself that there is a difference in beers. Next time, enjoy a tall, cool, refreshing glass of Rheingold Extra Dry and discover the difference Extra Dry brewing makes. In the bottom of the seventh, the Mets will be sending up Frank Thomas, Jim Hickman, and Tim Harkness. Mets trail by 5. Ray Sadecki on the mound for the Cardinals. Came into today's game with a record of 2 victories and 4 losses. Frank Thomas is 1 for 2 in this game, batting .220. Ground ball, and it's going to go through for a base hit. Thomas rounds first, holds up his flood, comes up with the ball, relays it in. Dick Grote moved to his left and barely managed to get the glove on the ball, but no chance to control it. It's a base hit for Thomas. 2 for 3 in this game. So the Mets get a little something going here in the bottom of the seventh with Jim Hickman coming up, and the crowd is responding. Sadecki is up and set as Thomas leads off the bag at first. Swing and a miss. It's strike 1. Bill White is not trying to hold the runner. The Cards have a 5-run lead. Cards, of course, trying to win this one to get an even break in the series. Here's a drive to right for Hickman. Going to be a base hit. Going to go to the wall. Horton will have to wait for it. Up with it, and on the way to third is Thomas as Hickman has to hold it first. So the Mets have runners at first and third, and Harkness coming up. He's being called back, and Cliff Cook is coming out with a bat. Cliff Cook is going to bat here for Harkness against left-hander Ray Sadecki. Casey Stengel going to the right-hand pinch hitter. Cliff Cook is being announced now. Mets now have a total of 5 hits off Sadecki. Johnny Keane is now coming out of the Cardinal dugout and going out to the mound. Well, he's not going that far. It is Bill White coming across to meet him. Bill White having a word with Johnny Keane, and now goes back to his position at first base. Cliff Cook steps into the batter's box. Thomas at third, Hickman at first. His pitch is high for a ball. Mets have Larry Benars up and throwing in the bullpen, and Ron Taylor is going down to the bullpen for the Cardinals. Taylor was in the dugout. When Johnny Keane came back that time, he signaled to Taylor to get down to the bullpen. His pitch is in there for a called strike. As Sadecki took a little something off of that one. It's 1-1. Mets making their first serious bid of this ball game. Have moved Thomas to third and have Hickman at first with nobody out. Now Sadecki is up and set. Pitch is swung on a ground ball. It's going off into left field. Thomas scored. Hickman holds at second. The ball was off the glove of Ken Boyer and was deflected on out into left field. Fielded out there by Charlie James. Hickman holds at second. Cook is on with a single off the glove of Boyer at third, and the Mets have scored. It's 5-1. Al Moran is coming up. As the Mets have 3 consecutive base hits, and Moran's being called back, and Fernandez is going to bat for him. Chico Fernandez batting for Al Moran. Cliff Cook with that single, of course, is credited with a run batted in. There is now action in the Cardinal bullpen as Ron Taylor is throwing. Mets trying to keep a rally going here on the bottom of the 7th. It's now the Cardinals 5, the Mets 1. Chico Fernandez batting .239 with 1 home run, 5 runs batted in. He's a long ball threat, had 20 home runs last year for the Detroit Tigers. It's in there for a called strike, a breaking ball. Jim Hickman's the base runner at second, and Cliff Cook is the base runner at first. Ken Sadecki is up and set. Pitch to the right-hand batter. Swung on. It's a ground ball fouled on the third baseline. Out of play. 2-strike count to Fernandez. Cliff Cook was all the way to second. He's coming back to the bag at first now, and Jim Hickman retracing his steps toward second. Now Sadecki's set. Here's the pitch. He's in there for a called strike 3. Fernandez protesting to Ed Vargo, but he is called out on strike. 1 away. Runners holding first and second. Catcher Norm Sherry coming up now for the Mets. Sherry's right-hand batter. He has caught both games of today's doubleheader because of the fact that he's a right-hand batter. As the Cardinals have been pitching left-handed, they started Kurt Simmons in the first game and Ray Sadecki in the second. So Casey Stengel has had his only right-hand batting catcher in the ballgame all day long. This pitch is high to Sherry for ball 1. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Sadecki now up and set. Runners lead first and second. Pitch is swung on and has a fly ball to left. Coming in is Charlie James. And he makes the catch. Runners holding. He had a long run for that one. Ken Mckenzie is due up for the Mets. Duke Snyder is being called off the coaching line. Snyder is being called off the coaching line to bat for Ken Mckenzie against the left-hand pitcher, Ray Sadecki. He hit a 3-run homer off a left-hander to Yamanis Olivo here on Friday night. Snyder had been coaching at first base since Sally Hemus was run out of the ball game by umpire Lee Wire. Listen to the ovation for Snyder. Once again, Ernie White comes out of the bullpen to coach at first for the Mets. Duke Snyder advancing to the plate. Has a big banner that says Duke hit 400. That is indicative of his having already hit 399 home runs in his National League career. There are Duke Snyder banners all around this ballpark, as a matter of fact. First chance they've had to use them. This is Duke's first appearance in this doubleheader. He's up and waiting. Runners lead, and Sadecki with the pitch. It's high for ball. Gets away from McCarver. No advance. He recovers in time. He and umpire Ed Vargo going round and round for a moment. Vargo trying to get out of the way. The Cardinals lead the Mets by a score of 5-1. 2 men out. Now the pitch to Snyder, and it's in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. Larry Bernard is the man throwing in the bullpen now that Ken Mckenzie is out of the game. The pitch is high for a ball. It's 2-1. Mets have scored 1 run here in the bottom of the 7th, trying for more. Ray Sadecki has his sign. The 2-1 pitch. In there for a called strike 2. It's 2-2. Sadecki goes to the rosin bag. Snyder taps those spikes, comes back in. The Duke wipes the palm of his hand. And now he is in and waiting. It missed outside. It's 3-2. A full count now to Snyder. With 2 men out, Hickman at second. And Cook at first will be moving on the pitch. Runners leading. Sadecki up and set. Payoff pitch. He's called out on strike. Snyder protesting to Ed Vargo. Had started down toward first base, but he is called out on strike. And the side is retired. So in the bottom of the 7th, the Mets got 1 run on 3 hits. No errors and 2 left. And at the end of 7, it's the Cardinals 5, the Mets 1. We'll take a look at those scores all around the majors. Cincinnati Reds and the Philadelphia Phillies split a doubleheader with the Phillies winning the first game 8-7 and the Reds winning the second game 3-1. And the Reds will be in here tomorrow night and again on Tuesday afternoon. The Milwaukee Braves and the Pittsburgh Pirates split a doubleheader. Pittsburgh won the first game 4-0. Milwaukee won the second 5-3. Bob Friend won the first game. Warren Spahn won the second. That is Spahn's 8th victory of the season against 3 losses and number 335 in his fabulous National League career. The Dodgers beat the Cubs 11-8. Larry Sherry got the win in relief. Dick Ellsworth took the loss. Ernie Banks hit 3 home runs in that ball game. And the Giants play the Houston Colt 45s tonight in Houston. Sunday night game. In the American League, the Yankees beat the Detroit Tigers 6-2. Whitey Ford all the way for the win. His 8th win against 3 losses. Mickey Lolich took the loss. Cleveland Indians beat Washington 7-3. Gary Bell the winner, Tom Chaney the loser. In 14 innings, the Boston Red Sox beat the Baltimore Orioles 3-2. Raditz the winner, Miller the loser. Chicago White Sox beat the Kansas City A's 4-3. And Los Angeles Angels beat the Minnesota Twins 4-2. McBride the winner and Perry the loser. Changes now for the New York Mets. Cliff Cook stays in the ballgame at first. He batted for Harkness, so stays in the same position in the batting order. Fernandez stays in at shortstop. Batted for Moran, stays in the same position in the batting order. Larry Bernard has come into pitch, will bat number 9 in the batting order. Cardinals coming up here in the top half of the 8th inning. And they send up Dick Groat. He bats number 3. Through 7 innings, the Cards have 5 runs on 8 hits. The Mets have 1 run on 6 hits. Groat is in and waiting now. Right-hander Larry Bernard into the pitching motion. And it's low for ball 1. Again, the pitch. Low for a ball. 2-0. 2-0 pitch. Outside, it's ball 3, 3-0. Bernard was in the first game briefly. Gave up a single to Grote that scored 2 runs and then got Charlie James on a fly ball to center. It's low and he has walked Grote. So with a runner at first, nobody out, Ken Boyer's coming up for the Cards. Cliff Cook playing first base. Over to hold against the runner. The throw over is not in time. Don Rowe is now throwing in the bullpen for the Mets. There's a pitch. It's bunted foul. And right now, in order to allow our stations to identify themselves, we pause for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady, 810 on the radio dial. The correct time is 7:30.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy at the Polo Grounds. The count to Boyer is strike one as he was squared around to sacrifice and fouled it off. Squares again. Pitch is high. It's 1-1. Boyer trying to sacrifice in the 7th, fouled out to the catcher. Dick Grote takes his lead. Bernard's pitch outside. 2-1. Cardinals 5, the Mets 1. Mets won the first game today, 8-7. Again, he squares to bunt and fouls it off. Count to Boyer is 2-2. Red Schoendienst on the coaching staff of the Cardinals, seated on the front step of the dugout. Red, of course, very familiar to these surroundings. Was traded from the Cardinals, where he had a great career already, to the Giants, and then on to the Milwaukee Braves, where he sparked them to a couple of pennants. Here's a throw over. Grote gets back safely. Pitch to Boyer is low. So the count runs full at 3-2. George Altman is on deck for the Cards. Bernard has his sign. Grote's running. Pitch is swung on and fouled off. That'll bring Grote back. Sending him with nobody out in the 3-2 count to Boyer. Fouled it off, trickled it along the third baseline. Joey Jay will pitch for the Cincinnati Reds tomorrow night, and they come in here. And Tracy Stallard's going to get another starting assignment for the Mets. Throw over to first, and Grote gets back safely again. We're in the top half of the 8th inning. He's running. Pitch is swung on. It's a ground ball to Bernard. He goes to Hunt, and the throw is wide. Goes on out into center field. Grote is safe, and Boyer is safe at first. The error is charged to Bernard. The error charged to Bernard, as of course Boyer is on the fielder's choice. And Grote is safe on the error committed by Larry Bernard. That was a comebacker, and he had time, but made the wide throw. So that the Cards have runners at first and second. Nobody out, and big George Altman coming up. So let's see how Johnny Keane plays it here. The Cardinals lead in this game by a score of 5-1. Altman has gone down to talk to Vern Benson, the coach. Big George is a free swinger. He may not know the bunt sign. So he's been in consultation with Vern Benson. Charlie Neal in on the edge of the grass at third. Altman bunts the ball, and it is toward Neal. He'll have to play it on over to first base, and not in time. Altman beats it out. It's a base hit. A perfectly placed bunt. As he punched it down toward third, and Charlie Neal, wanting to break toward the bag, had to go for the ball because the ball was bunted by Benares. And then the throw on to first was just not in time to get George Altman, who has excellent speed. It's a base hit, and the bases are loaded. With Charlie James coming up. Nobody out. James had a single to drive in 2 runs in the top of the 7th. Mets bring the infield in here. Nobody out. Don Rose still throwing in the bullpen. Has a little number that's fouled on the first base line. Out of play. Cliff Cook, the first baseman, fielding it. Larry Benares in trouble here with the bases loaded. Check swing foul ball off the bat of Charlie James to the right side. Out of play, a 2-strike count. Benares takes a look around. There are people everywhere he looks. Cardinal people. The bases are loaded. Swinging a drive into center for a base hit. Grote comes on to score. Ken Boyer is holding at third base. So it's a single to center, a run batted in. Ball fielded in a hurry by Rod Cannell in center to hold Boyer at third. They're still loaded up. 1 run in here to make it 6-1. Third run batted in this game by Charlie James. That'll bring on Julian Javier. And Charlie James has been murder for the Mets. He's been more like Jesse James as far as they're concerned. Pitch to Javier. Swung on. It's a ground ball to Hunt. The throw goes to the plate. He's out there on the fourth. No other play. Ball hit Hunt in the chest, dropped down right in front of him. He picked it up, played on to Norm Sherry. Of course, it was a force at the plate. They didn't have to tag Boyer. There was no other play. Bases are still loaded. 1 man out. That'll bring up Tim McCarver. Altman is the runner at third now. James at second. Javier at first. That's a lot of speed on the bases. McCarver's a left-hand batter. It's low for a ball. Charlie Neal is even with the bag at third, and the remainder of the infield is back. Dal Maxwell has gone down to loosen up in the Cardinal bullpen area. Benares with the pitch. Swung on and belted into center. Cannell is there and slips down, and it goes by him. All the way, it's rolling to the wall. 1 run is scored. 2 runs have scored. 3 runs have scored, and McCarver is coming on. 4 runs have scored. As that ball was belted on a line, it is scored as a home run for Tim McCarver, his first of the season. It is belted on a line, and Rod Cannell had it lined up to make the catch. And actually, as he was switching around to get in position to throw, with Altman, of course, tagged up at third, he slipped. When he did, that ball sailed right on by him and rolled all the way, and 4 runs came home, and the Cardinals lead now 10-1. Sadecki is at the plate. Pitch is outside for a ball. So that, of course, becomes a grand slammer for Tim McCarver.
inside the park. Low for a ball, 2-0. Pitch is swung on. It's a ground ball. It's going into right field for a base hit. So Ray Sadecki is on at first. That home run by Tim McCarver was the first grand slammer of his career and the second home run of his career. Kurt Flood is up. Still only one man out. Don Rowe is still throwing in the bullpen. Pitch to Flood is low. Ball one. So the Cardinals have now taken a 10-1 lead. The Mets won the first game of today's doubleheader 8-7. Pitch is swung on and fouled off. 1-1. Larry Bernard checks. Fellow lobs this one in high. It's 2-1. Ray Sadecki leading at first. Swinging a foul ball back onto the screen and out of play. 2-2. Duke Carmel is going down to the bullpen area now for the Cardinals. As manager Johnny Keane will be making some late inning changes. That pitch is low to Flood, 3-2. That home run was the first one off Bernard this year, and that means in his major league career. Payoff pitch, it is swung on and tipped back into the glove of Sherry. Out on a strikeout, 2 away. Bill White coming up. Sadecki holding it first. Bill White had a home run in the top of the fourth to put the Cardinals out in front. They've never been behind in this game. Pitch to the left-hand batter is low for ball one. Sadecki takes his lead. Let up is in there to Bill White for a called strike. It's 1-1. Jay Hook started this game for the Mets and is the pitcher of record. 1-1 pitch. It's in there for a called strike 2. 1-2. That pitch is low. 2 balls, 2 strikes to White. That's up, and it's swung on and missed for strike 3. As Bernard finishes the inning, striking out Flood and White. But in the top of the 8th, the Cardinals got 5 runs on 4 hits. There was 1 error and 1 left. So at the end of 7.5 innings of play, it's the Cardinals 10, the Mets 1. Changes for the Cardinals. Dal Maxwell has come in to play shortstop in place of Dick Grote. And Duke Carmel has come in to play right field in place of George Altman. Those changes are being announced on the public address system here at the Polo Grounds.
Number 28.
Carmel is going to bat third in the batting order, I believe.
And Maxville, I believe, is going to bat fifth. We'll find out about that in just a moment, but if I read Ed Vargo's signals right, that's what he said. I'm not an expert at reading umpire signals. Rod Keneal is up to lead off for the Mets, and it's ball one. Ray Sadecki started. Still in the ball game. There's a pitch swung on. A ground ball to short. Al Maxville up with it. Plays over to first to Bill White in time, and he's out. So there's one away, and Charlie Neal is coming up. Charlie is 1 for 2 and a walk in this game. The Cardinals leading by a score of 10-1. Mets won the first game of the doubleheader, 8-7. You wonder why we repeat the score of the first game so many times during the course of the second game. Because if we don't, we get an awful lot of phone calls from people who have just come in, they've been out elsewhere, and they want to know how the first game came out. Here's a swing and a miss. It's strike one. And now the pitch to Neal. Swung on, and there's a fly ball down the line and left. Curving over toward foul territory, but this one is hitting the screen for a home run for Charlie Neal. Curved over, but hit the screen for a home run for Neal. It is his second of this season. And Charlie Neal comes on across the plate. He hit that one right down the line, a high fly ball. It was just sort of drifting over, but it hit the screen for a home run, and it's the Cardinals 10, the Mets 2. And that brings up Ron Hunt. That batting order we gave you is correct. Duke Carmel will bat third. Dal Maxville will bat fifth for the St. Louis Cardinals. Sadecki winds and fires. The pitch is swung on, and as the fly ball to center field, Flood comes in. Was hanging back there for quite a while and then came in to make the catch. 2 away, and that will bring up Frank Thomas. Mets are batting in the bottom of the 8th. Thomas is 2 for 3 in this ball game, as his batting average up to 227. Swinging a ground ball going backhanded by Boyer. Can't handle it. No throw when Thomas is on at first. It was a backhand stab, and it scored as a base hit for Frank Thomas. He is 3 for 4 in this game. That ball had a lot of English on it, and it took one crazy spin, and then Boyer backhanded it, knocked it down, and couldn't find the handle. So Jim Hickman is coming up with 2 men out and a runner at first. Hickman is 1 for 2 and a walk in this game. Thomas leads. Pitch is swung on. Foul back onto the screen, out of play for strike one. Cardinals leading here by a score of 10-2. Pitch to Hickman is high and tight. It's 1-1. Again, Sadecki is set. Thomas leads. That pitch misses outside. It's 2-1. The lights, of course, have been on here at the Polo Grounds for quite a while now. And this, the second game of a doubleheader. 2-1 pitch is swung on, and as a drive deep to left. Going back there is Charlie James, way back, going. Gone for a home run in the upper deck in left field for Jim Hickman. So Thomas is coming on around to score. Jim Hickman is coming on around with his 7th home run of the season. And his 28th run batted in. And it's now the Cardinals 10, the Mets 4. Two men out, nobody on, and Cliff Cook is at the plate now for the Mets. Swing and a miss. It's strike one. Chico Fernandez moves out to the on-deck position.
Swing out a foul ball. Jim Hickman has hit 7 home runs this year, and 5 of them have been on Sunday. He's a Sunday kind of guy. A few years ago, Charlie Maxwell with the Detroit Tigers was that kind of a ball player. He had a tremendous Sunday home run record. That pitch is high. 1-1 to Cliff Cook. Cardinals 10, the Mets 4. Pitch is low, taken on a short hop by catcher Tim McCarver. It's a swing and a drive foul on the left field line. That's going to be way up there, but a foul ball disappearing over the rooftop. 2-2 the count to Cliff Cook. Swinging a foul ball back out of play. Count holds it 2-2. Sadecki getting a sign. The 2-2 pitch. Lets up low, rolls on back, but there are no base runners, so there's no damage. And it's a full count. Mets have scored 3 runs here in the bottom of the 8th. Trouble is, the Cardinals scored 5 in the top of the 8th. Pitch is high and he walked it. Third walk issued by Sadecki will bring up Chico Fernandez. 2 men out. Well, the bugle blowers are still with us here at the Polo Grounds. Pitch to Fernandez, swung on, has a drive deep to center, but Flood is right there, and he makes the catch. Line drive. So in the bottom of the 8th, the Mets got 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left. And at the end of 8, it's the Cardinals 10, the Mets 4. Old Timers Day will be observed here at the Polo Grounds on Saturday afternoon, June 22nd. The regular game that day will be Mets and the Phils, but if you were around last year at Old Timers Day, you know what a lot of fun it can be. And it figures to be even more this year. Ball players who were born and reared in the metropolitan area of New York are going to be honored. And in addition to them, a number of Hall of Famers. The latest to accept, Joe McCarthy, who won pennants in both the National and American Leagues. He'll be on hand. So will Frankie Frisch and Hank Greenberg and Ed Roush and Joe Medwick, Bill Dickey, Ralph Franca, Bobby Thompson. Whole host of ball players. So we hope you're making your plans to be here on Saturday afternoon, June 22nd, for the Mets' 2nd annual Old Timers Day. We'll be going to the top of the 9th. Cardinals will be sending up Duke Carmel. Carmel's a left-hand batter. Larry Bernard into the windup. The pitch sailed way high for ball 1. Cincinnati Reds in here tomorrow night. Game time 8 p.m. They'll be in again Tuesday afternoon. That'll conclude this homestand. Pitcher's in there for a called strike. It's 1-1 to Carmel. Here's one drilled deep to right field, but it's curving over foul. 1-2. That one ricocheting off the facade of the upper deck. Nobody on, nobody out for the Cards. Top of the ninth. Swinging a foul ball. The count holds at 1-2. The Mets with an infield right now. Cliff Cook at first. Ron Hunt at second. Chico Fernandez at short. And Charlie Neal at third. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Let's up high. And it's 2-2. That let-up pitch has been effective at times for Larry Bernard this season. Comes in there so fat that the temptation is tremendous. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, it's a ground ball going up the middle. Hunt is over, up with his left throw in a hurry, and he pulls Cook off the bag at first. He's safe. Low for a ball. It's 1-0. Dow Maxwell is swinging bats on deck. Swinging a foul ball. Into the dirt and out of play. 1-1. The Cardinals are leading in this game by a score of 10-4. The pitch is in there for a call strike. It's 1-2. Runner at first and nobody out. Cards batting, top of the ninth. Swinging a ground ball to short. Fernandez up with it. Plays over to Hunt. He's out. The throw to first and he's out. It's a double play. 2 men out. Nobody on base. 6-4-3 double play if you're scoring, and that is number 58 for the Mets in the double play department this season. Dow Maxwell coming up here for his first time today. Pitch is low. Say, do you know why Rheingold tastes so good? Well, dry tells you why. It tells you that Rheingold Extra Dry is brewed the long, slow, costly way for a flavor that's brisk and bright and clean clear through. Pitch is swung on and chopped off foul. It's 1-1. Two men out, nobody on. Cards 10, Mets 4. Maxwell has been up only 7 times this season. He drills this one into left. Thomas is coming over and makes the catch at the line drive. So, in the top of the ninth, the Cardinals got no runs, 1 hit, no errors, none left, and at the end of 8.5 innings, it's the Cardinals 10, the Mets 4.
Chug-a-mug.
Chug-a-mug?
Chug-a-mug.
What?
Chug-a-mug.
Chug-a-mug?
Chug-a-mug.
What?
New from Rheingold, the Chug-a-mug. No more glasses you have to wash, and no more deposit you have to pay.
I can even throw my opener away.
Why, sure. Chug-a-mug is Rheingold's new wide-mouth container with a top that's so easy to open. You just pull the metal tab on top straight out, then straight up, and pull off the top. You drink right from Chug-a-mug's wide mouth. Inside's the same great Rheingold Extra Dry you love in cans, bottles, and on tap. Chug-a-mug holds the same, costs the same as a 12-ounce can. Chug-a-mug. No glasses, no openers, no deposits.
No fooling?
My beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Chug-a-mug is a new way to buy beer. Better get some today.
Chug-a-mug's what you say.
What a great way to drink Rheingold beer.
This is Lindsey Nelson at the Polo Grounds, and we're going to the bottom half of the ninth inning. Norm Sherry is up to lead off, and Jim Pearsall has come out to the on-deck circle, preparatory to batting for pitcher Larry Bernard. The Cardinals lead 10-4. The Mets won the first game of the doubleheader 8-7. Here's a swing and a high pop fly toward short left field. Dow Maxwell, the shortstop, backpedaling and makes the catch. Now Pearsall is coming up to make his first appearance in this game. He played the first game here today. Pearsall is in and waiting. Ray Sadecki has come all the way. Here's the pitch. It's in there for a call. Strike one to Pearsall. Again the motion. Swung on and lined into right field for a base hit. Pearsall turns and holds it first. Rod Keneal is coming up, and right now we pause for station identification.
8:10 on the radio dial, WGY, Schenectady, New York. The time is 1.5 minutes after 8.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner at the Polo Grounds. Rod Keneal is coming up. Played third base in the first game and has been playing center field in this one. Sadecki checks. Pearsall leads. The pitch is bunted foul back onto the screen. Keneal was trying to catch Ken Boyer, napping at third. He's playing a deep third base, and he was trying to bunt for the base hit. Sadecki set. Pitch swung on, foul off to the right side. Out of play, a 2-strike count. One man out and a runner at first. Cardinals leading 10-4. Bottom half of the ninth inning. Pitch is swung on. It's a ground ball to third. Taken by Boyer. He goes to Javier. He's out to throw to first, and he beat the relay. He's safe at first base. So Keneal has forced Pearsall from Ken Boyer to Julian Javier. Keneal becomes the base runner at first, and Charlie Neal is coming up. He has 2 for 3 and a walk in this game. Had a home run in the bottom of the 8th. Mets have had 10 hits in this game. Pitch is in there for a called strike. Things have not worked out exactly as the St. Louis Cardinals would have had them work out in this 4-game series here at the Polo Grounds. The Cardinals came in here tied for first place in the National League standings. Pitch is in there for a call strike, and they hope to sort of fatten things up. But even presuming that they will get out with the win here, the best they will have done is an even break in the series. Mets won on Friday night and the first game of today's doubleheader. That pitch is high to Neal. 1-2. Swinging a ground ball to third. It's taken by Boyer. He's going to Javier for the fourth, and this ball game is over. As Neal has forced Keneal. In the bottom of the ninth, the Mets got no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. Keep in mind that the Mets will be meeting the Cincinnati Reds in here tomorrow night. Joey J is going to be pitching for the Reds against Tracy Stallard of the Mets. Game time is 8 p.m., and then the Reds will be here for a single game on Tuesday afternoon to conclude the current homestand. We'll be back in a moment with a final summary and totals. Right now, the final score of this ball game is the Cardinals 10, the Mets 4. My beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Yes, sir, that's the song that tops on the
copyrighted broadcast.